So I want to turn us to the workplace now.
Mm,
Sometimes we do personal development outside of the work, and then we go to work, and it's almost as if all the personal development goes out the window, and we don't
mm,
think that the principles that we learn outside in personal development can apply to professional development. So I want to give a personal example, and then Mazen get a little bit of your take there. So I used to work at a company, at a corporation, and we had to do a lot of manual report writing. And so, being the clever and sometimes lazy guy I am, I decided to make a automated program that wrote the reports for me. So I used all the data inputs. So I automated it, and then I secretly tested it. So I sent the reports to people that needed to approve them, tough people who are really going to go very critical. And again, it was like, great, great, great. This is the best report we've seen in a while. And then I tried to share this report with my organization. So I started by sharing with my boss, who was pleasantly surprised, and then their boss, and then their boss. And then eventually I was directed to a team that was in charge of actually the same task. They were trying to automate report writing. And in that moment, they I don't think they really appreciated what I did. They viewed it as a competition with their own project, and they put a stop to my report writing tool that I created. And in that moment, I went into like the learned helplessness. I don't have control. Like, how dare they? I'm trying to improve the organization. I've invented such an amazing thing. And so, if my younger self came to you as like, I have no control, I really don't know what to do. This big bad company is not letting me innovate. What would you share with a younger me?
In that specific situation,
It can be both specific and then more generalized.
I feel Krisana, you have something to say. Chris, I will send you to Krisana first.
I would first start with how does that make you feel? You know, you would have relayed this whole event, this this heated event for you, this that created a lot of emotions to play. And so that's the first thing. So how does it make you feel? And how did it make you feel?
In this moment, I feel a sense of joy. So there's nothing. I've processed it. In the moment, I was very. I felt a lot of anger, and I felt
Yeah.
this sense of unfairness,
Yeah.
and there's a bit of this. Can't you see what I've done? Like, can't you see how I've solved this problem? So there was this righteousness and rebelliousness that was going on inside me.
Yes. Of course. So there's this, there's this expression, healthy expression that you're doing something and then it's been squashed. But you have to process that. You have to be aware of that. "Urgh, that's what I'm feeling," instead of bottling it up and putting it into political righteousness or something, that goes through the head. But of course, yeah, you do feel an emotion about it, and how to process that, digest that, support yourself. And then when that has been regulated a little more, so it's come into a bit of equilibrium and balance, then you would have been a bit more clear-headed to, like, okay, what's the next steps as a young up and coming career person? What's the next healthy steps I can do? I have choices. But when your emotions are on so high, they're reactions, they're actions just reacting. So, yeah, I would have listened, said, how do you feel? And honestly, allow that person to really, I don't know, but if I get to it, I'm feeling this, and yes, of course you would feel angry. Yes, and then work a little bit with the body to help support, to unleash in a safe way, in a safe container, so you can feel, and the energy and the life force is moving again. So basically, is your life force moved and then it got squashed. And it's like, okay, let's get it moving again into this expansion and contraction, but then it's doing this again. It's in flow.
Then I will. That's perfect. That's why I send them. I send you, your young you, to Krisana, and then I'll catch you after that. Once you're regulated, and then I remind you, which is I really bet you did that. Can you please, or can you please stop going to all your friends, family members, and tell them what happened to you and pull you and repeat the same story. And you know what's worse? Everybody's like, oh, I understand. And that we think is empathy. This is not empathy. This is collective learned helplessness that support each other. Because they agreed that you are poor. You. There is a difference between love and then swimming in fear and victimhood. And blame, and they did it to me. They did it once. Come on, let us bring some science and facts. How many times did they do that to you? In that example,
In
not
that
in life.
example, there was one, yeah,
Event. One event.
one event. Yes.
How many times did you tell the story?
Oh, I was furious so many times. Coworkers, friends, family, anyone that would
Okay.
spare me an ear.
Okay. So imagine, I don't know, a big number. Every time when you said the story, you felt the same feeling, right?
Oh yeah, it just was actually building. It wasn't even the same.
Exactly.
It was amplifying.
Is what amplifying. So see, the last time when you said it, before you healed it or before you found something, a resolution with it, and remember the event, how does the picture, the inner picture of the emotion, feeling, sensation, thoughts, mind was compared to when the event happened to you? Do they look anything alike?
No.
So what you were told the people was something else than the event itself. It was your anger, you fueled it, and your fear and your victimhood. You lost every sense of inner leadership. That means you were very far away from the solution. Because if that was the solution, it would have minimized. But something got more than reality itself. And this is where you lost your inner leadership. I'll keep it at that for now. Yes.
Yeah. I will share the end of the story, which is this is absolutely true, everything I experienced. And then I did finally go and process the emotion. I sat in silence. I did all the things that helped resource me. And what I chose to do is, even though I was told not to distribute the tool, when I checked in with what I really wanted to do, is I picked my friends that I really cared about, and I sent it to them anyways. And it was just something I shared friend to friend with people in the company that might have enjoyed some support on the report writing. And I was okay with facing the consequences of doing that, and knew that I was doing something that was against the company but felt good for me.
So you took your responsibility in that. You knew what you're doing.
Yes.
You said, okay, I'm responsible for that. Okay.
Yes, and I was happy to take with no emotion any consequences that came of that decision.
I'm gonna play on words. Krisana already, I felt in her, she worked on the word responsibility. I don't know if consciously you played on it, but you did. And so in the case where it went south, where it went really disempowered, you went and reacted, right? So I'm gonna introduce a small word here. You went on full reaction. And then when you solved it, Krisana used the word responsibility, is the ability to respond, responsibility. This is how the word comes together semantically and even for the brain. So you had an ability to respond. That's responsibility. You got back your own self-leadership. So now just to bring it to what are the opposite words here, what is supportive, what's not supportive. Reaction is most of the time based on fear and victimhood. Responding is based on finding a solution, accepting what happens, try to accept it, try to process it, and having the ability to deal with the event itself instead of the over accumulated stories and the story that's not anymore related to the event itself.